So not too long ago, Christian apologist Cameron Bertuzzi posted a video on his YouTube channel capturing Christianity. And this video was an interview with a man named Dr. Braxton Hunter, a theological professor and apologist and president of Trinity Bible College. In this video, the two talked about a concept that Cameron Bertuzzi called the Hunter dilemma. And I think this dilemma has great potential to push forward the evolution of the philosophical debate between religious people and atheistic people. So let's get into it. Now, the wording that they concluded on for Hunter's dilemma does lack a little bit of context, but I'm going to get into that, and the video itself is fantastic. But put simply, Hunter's dilemma says you can only pick one. A. Claim to merely lack belief in God. Or B. Compare God to beings you believe don't exist. And the example that they gave on B is Santa Claus. Now, just said, just this header by itself lacks information, but they gave great context for this in their video, which I'm going to just sum up. Bertuzzi presented this diagram of belief, which I will call belief, unbelief, and disbelief. He gave a diagram where belief can go from a scale from 0 to 100, but then also said that there's also a negative side, so it actually goes more from negative 100 to positive 100. And 0 is just that lack of belief. You're unsure on either way. The argument goes that your lack of belief in something is different from believing something does not exist. Really, what this makes me think of is Schrodinger's cat. There's a difference between knowing the cat is dead and refusing to open the box. Until you open the box, the cat in your mind can both be dead and alive at the same time. But once you open the box, the cat is either going to be alive or dead. Put in this way, God's existence would be like the cat being alive. God's non-existence would be like the cat being dead. Going that route of lacking belief in God would be refusing to open the box, so to speak. I one time explained Schrodinger's cat to my mom, and actually she understood it really well, and the reason she understood it was from a personal experience, from a time before I was born. So when my older sister was a baby, she had a regular sleeping routine, unlike me, who has no sleeping routine at all. So one day, when it was around time that my sister would generally wake up, the room was completely silent. And my mom started to get a little concerned. Why isn't she waking up? And of course, she had that parental responsibility, go in and check on the baby, make sure the baby is okay. But she was scared to, because she was scared of what she might see. And in her mind, it was easier to stay outside the room where there's a potential that the child is still alive versus going in and finding the child to be dead. Now, of course, my mom took responsibility of her parental role, went in and checked on my sister, and of course she was doing fine. So she understood Schrodinger's cat very well. So the point is that there's a difference between lacking belief in something and disbelieving in something. And so Hunter's dilemma is a push for atheists to make the decision, whether they just lack belief in something or rather they disbelieve something exists. The concept of comparing God to somebody like Santa Claus, whom no rational adult believes exists, would be an invalid argument if you just lack belief in God's existence. If you don't believe in God's existence, just like you don't believe in Santa Claus, then that's perfectly fine. So Hunter's dilemma is not a criticism of atheism, is not to say that atheists are dumb or that religion is a superior intellect. It is rather a challenge for atheists to make a decision whether they are lacking belief in God or rather they actually disbelieve in God. Now, I personally think that there is a strong implication that was not mentioned in this video, and I'd like to take the challenge a step further. And that is to encourage those people who decide I do not know, I just lack a belief in God, I don't disbelieve that God exists. I would encourage them to really investigate it because it is a very serious question. Now, of course, if God exists, that does pose a question of which God exists. Is it Allah from Islam? Is it the God of the Jews of the Old Testament minus Jesus? Or is it the God of Christianity with Jesus? Or is it some Hindu God or some Roman Norse God or something like that? But regardless, whatever God you choose, there are strong implications on your eternal state. Now, I'm not meaning this to evoke Pascal's wager. I'm not a fan of Pascal's wager. I'm not saying get on board with Christianity because otherwise you risk eternity of hell. My encouragement is don't play this game of we don't know and therefore we're just not going to ask. Ask. If you have reason to believe that God does not exist, then you're safe, of course, in your own mind. If you have reason to believe God does exist, then you want to take these steps to make sure that you're living your life appropriately in God's eyes. But just saying, well, I don't know, that's not going to get you anywhere. I've got a couple of other analogies. I am really bad at checking the oil in my car. In my mind, I sometimes think what I don't know can't hurt me. Is my lack of checking the oil on my car going to keep my engine from blowing out because it dropped all the oil and I didn't know it? No. Should that day come, I'm not going to be able to say to the engine, well, I didn't know that you needed new oil, so that's not on me. Of course it's on me. It's my responsibility to check on the oil of my car. But here's an even stronger and more profound argument. Suppose there's a movie being filmed where in the movie a character gets shot and dies. Now, the director brings in an actual gun for filming the scene. However, he unloads the gun so that there are no bullets in the gun, and the actor shooting the other actor just shoots blanks, and the actor getting shot pretends to get shot. Is that gun loaded? No, we've just established that the idea is to unload the gun. But while the actor is filming the scene, he needs to be asking this question. Is that gun loaded? The actor should not be content with, I don't know, let's just go for it and see what happens. If the actor has any reason to believe that the gun is loaded, then he should say, stop the scene, check the gun, I'm not losing my life today. If the actor has reason to believe that the gun is not loaded, then he should be perfectly comfortable going ahead with the shot. No pun intended. But if the actor lacks a belief in whether the gun is loaded or not, if he's just indifferent, is like, I don't know, we'll see what happens, then he's playing a stupid game. He should say, hey, can you check that gun just to be sure? What are you talking about? Of course the gun's not loaded. We've prepared that gun not to be loaded. Hey, we're playing with my life here. Check the gun, alright? You see, lack of belief doesn't save you. If you're not sure whether the gun is loaded or not, if you're not sure whether you've got oil in your car, if you're not sure that your baby is still alive, don't just play Schrodinger's cat and say, what I don't know can't hurt me. On the same token, if you're unsure of whether God exists or not, if you're just lack of belief in whether God exists or not, then you need to do some investigation. You need to do some searching. Because the risk of your car lacking oil can blow your engine. That can cost you your car. The risk of filming a scene with a gun that may or may not be loaded risks your own life. But to just lack a belief in God is to put an eternity at stake. And you would do better to actually have confidence in your answer, no, I do not believe in God, than to just assume, well, I don't know. So it is important that you actually ask the hard questions of whether God exists or not, to investigate it, to seek it out, and to seek, does it have any merit to it or not? By the way, there's plenty of historical evidence that Jesus died and rose from the dead. So yes, seek to find these answers, seek to make an actual decision, and believe something. Don't just believe nothing. The Bible says in both Deuteronomy 4:29 and Jeremiah 29:13 that if you seek God with all your heart, then you will, indeed, find him. So don't just lack a belief. Believe something. Anyway, I think this Hunter's dilemma is a very great argument. I don't think it's critical of atheists. I think it's a critique of atheists. And if atheists embrace it, then it can further the intellectual debate between atheists and religious folk. So anyway, guys, thanks for watching, and God bless.